A very good evening. Hey, very good evening. My name is Bosquin and welcome to Farm Drive right here at Farmers Media. And this is where we connect, learn, and grow. For the first time, I'm doing my show in the evening. Let's see how it flows. But anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. Hope you're doing good. Hope you had a good day. I'm here to take you home safely. And I know you just had a busy day, and this is the time you're winding up on work or at work. And maybe you're headed home or you're planning for something else in the evening. Make sure you tune in here at Farmers Media, whereby I'm going to give you a soft or rather a smooth landing as you head back home. Make sure you follow our social media platforms at Farmers Media on Facebook, a Farmers with a Z underscore on Twitter. And of course, visit our website www.farmersmedia and also our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe at Farmers Media so that you get all these. If you, in case you miss the live, you go and get it right there on our channel. Hope you're doing well, and if you're following up on this conversation, make sure you drop your comment where you are watching me from or listening from, and let's keep this going. And today I have a very amazing topic to discuss. Make sure you keep in touch. Let's see how it let's flow with this. Um my topic today is about market trends and consumer preference, or rather demands. Everybody, okay, if we start with this, maybe the consumer demands, what comes into your mind? Everybody has it. Okay, let me say, like, the demands here are like the taste. What's your taste? Definitely, if you're going to buy a car, or you're going to, let's say, purchasing like food product, how, what makes it like for you? What do you go for? Is it the packaging? Is it the quality? Is it the brand? That is the demand. What makes you, or rather what drives you to go and purchase that thing? Now, today, this is what you're going to talk about. What are some of these demands that makes you, go for a particular product or choose a particular brand? Make sure you join me. Let's flow to this. And also about the market preference or the market trends. you know um in marketing, or rather in the field of marketing, or in the market, environment, we have these trends. Sometimes you get this, sometimes you don't. At some point, let's say, like, right now, there's a maybe shortage, and no, there was a time, like, back then, there was a time we had a shortage in terms of flour, maize flour. So we used we had, like, the prices were high because we had, like, less distribution of maize flour. So, and when there is more maize flour, there is, like, the prices drops. That's why we want to understand today what are some of these things that makes, like, contribute to rising, falling, maintaining, and all that. And according to the research that has been done with agricultural department, food production department, what are, like, some of these things that contributes. And of course, we'll still discuss on the emerging trends in plant-based alternatives, and also farm to table concepts, and also urban farming. What are some of these emerging trends in agricultural market, in when it comes to farming and agriculture, some of these trends that maybe you have no idea about. So this is where you're going to get it exclusively at a Farmers Media. We connect, learn, and grow. To start with, first of all, I'll just go by mentioning some of them so that you get to familiarize with them as we move on. Number one, we're going to discuss about sustainable agriculture. We're going to discuss about precision farming, vertical farming, digital platforms. We're going to talk about agricultural robotics, plant-based products, and Also, climate smart agriculture. This is something we usually mention it every now and then. Every now and then, climate smart agriculture, the CSA. According to how the climate is changing and how things are moving, CSA, practicing of climate smart agriculture, is one of the major thing we need to put into practice, because the climate is changing. We need to adapt, and due to, if we adapt to it, definitely you're not going to have crisis like food insecurity and all that. We're going to have maximum products or produce of agricultural products and food. And I think our country, our country is going to have a lot of food, and the issue of hunger, and drought, we're going to curb it. So to start with, sustainable agriculture. Someone might be asking, what is sustainable agriculture? This is the growing of demand and for sustainable farming practices that prioritize environmental conservation and reduce reliance on synthetic inputs. What do we mean by this? This one includes adapting the organic farming methods, conservation tillage, water management techniques, and precision agriculture technologies. When you talk about sustainable agriculture, for instance, one of them being organic farming, this is the application, this is the where you practice farming without or with less use of chemicals, agrochemicals. For instance, you're planting maize, and the maize from the start, you don't use anything to do with spraying it or adding fertilizer. No, what you do is use organic, like manure, pure manure from the farm, like farm waste, like for instance cow dung that is left to make manure. That's what you use from the start of how the maize is going to germinate until you harvest it, of which it's very healthy. If you try some time maybe to practice organic farming and test the foods, that is like the products, maybe in fruits that comes out of organic farming, and those that have undergone, maybe those that have been applied the fertilizers or the agrochemicals, you gonna tell me the difference, because you'll feel the difference. Now that there's a big difference, but in terms of taste, they literally have a different taste. So organic farming, once you start practicing organic farming, there's some of the factors you reduce, like environmental pollution, and also increasing of soil microorganisms that helps in borrowing and aerating the soil. These are some of the important keys that the soil needs. So if you practice organic farming, definitely you're going to have a healthy soil, and your the plants or the crops you're going to grow are going to be very healthy. So one of them, when you practice organic farming and you get, for instance, you're planting or planted maybe fruits or let's say legumes, and you take them to the market, and someone here has planted the same crops but using agrochemicals. When you take to the market, they will always have a difference in prices, because someone will come and be like, you are here and you're like pure organic products, and this one you divide them, put the less chemicals or rather the non-chemicals one, and the ones that they are applied chemicals during their growth and development until you harvest them. Now you're going to see a difference. Some people, like most of a higher percentage, will prefer the ones that has less chemicals than the other one. That's where the market trend gets in, and how the customer demands, or the rather the preference comes in, because you've preferred the organic one and left the other one, you know, because of maybe the content it carries and how you feel like, I think I'll go for this and leave the other one. So this is how the relationship between the market trends and the consumer demands. uh the other one is technology integrate. No, before I continue, under organic farming methods, that one I've already explained, and also the conservation, tillage, and water management. Basically, who doesn't know about conservation tillage? Conservation tillage, this is whereby you only cultivate, like you conserve, you as you cultivate, you conserving either the soil, the water, or the environment. You're not going to alter, or you're not altering with the environment or the soil. You strictly, let's say if you're planting maize, you're going to make um the rows where necessary, and where the maize you're going to plant it, you're not going to alter with the other side. And this is like the minimum tillage, whereby you disturb only where you're going to plant, and not any other, like where the soil nutrient is, and not deeper. So when you practice such, you're going to, you're going to conserve the soil moisture, the soil nutrients, and you're not going to disturb the soil layers, and the plant is going to get maximum nutrients, because the nutrient that is supposed to be consumed by the plant is not disturbed. So the plant, or rather the crop, will get maximum nutrients for its development. And the other one was water management techniques. If you manage your water well, definitely you're going to have a great harvest, because during this season most parts are facing, or are going through drought season. There is less water, but if you conserve water and you use it very well, definitely you're going to get a lot of produce out of it, because once you conserve water and you use it in the required amount, or you know you use it sparingly, you're going to save. At the same time, you're going to get maximum produce and curb the issue of hunger. And as we move on to precision farming, someone might be asking, what is the precision farming about? These are just the advancements in technology. The advancement in technology. When it comes to farming, there are these technologies that have been invented. For instance, the use of drones. If you have a large farm, like for instance, there's this large farm somewhere. I am not sure of the place though, but I saw it. It's very, very big, close to 100 acres, and they have planted pineapples. Now you can imagine doing a patrol on 100 acre of pineapples. Imagine walking. How long? Okay, how long is it going to take you? Of course, you've employed people to work on the farm, but you personally want to see how it's going. You want to make sure everything is running smoothly, and maybe there's no issues of theft. Even if you've installed cameras everywhere in that farm, you're not going to be sure of maybe which corner is this, where you seeing this from. So to cut on, like, to make work easier, where the invention of drones came to make sure, like, at least you're seeing every part of the farm and every corner. Now this is what I mean. Now this guy has 100 acres of pineapples, and what he does, initially he used to use a horse, like to go all around the farm. Like you just go from one corner to the other, from the other corner to the other one, from the other to the other, then you just start going in the mid. But that's a lot of time. That's like if today goes to one side, it'll definitely go, and then tomorrow come back. Tomorrow, then that's how you used to do it. But now, the use of drones, when the drones were introduced, this is what it does. Like, he just sits somewhere with a computer, controls the drone, goes by step. The drones can be lowered, like even to the lowest point of the pineapple, and it can see if the pineapple has a maybe has developed a disease. It can easily be traced, and an action can be taken. So drones are here to make work easier, and the invention of drones made it easier. Like instead of going all around the farm walking, getting tired and all that, you just put it on, let it go all around farm, take a clear, like record the whole video, and you can just come at your own time, sit, try, watch it, and analyze where there's an issue, where it's supposed to be harvested, we're supposed, that's what it does. Now, the invention of drones is what now we call it precision farming. The other one, the use of GPS, and this one they just enable monitoring of your farm and management of crops and also livestock. It's not only in crops but also in livestock. And also farmers are advised to, optimize the use of inputs like water, fertilizer, and pesticides. And this one results to higher and efficiency, like higher in efficiency and reduced cost. This is what I mean. When you use, for instance, there's a disease that has developed in a certain place within close to your farm. When you are like, or maybe we have this farm, you've list it, and you have no idea of the history in terms of, production and all that. So it happens that there's an outbreak of a certain disease. First of all, what you need to do is make sure, or maybe the history of that farm is somebody used to farm here, maybe maize, and the maize hasn't been doing well. You have to find the issue of that, and maybe you've already planted your maize and they're growing. Now, what you use, you go by the agro chemicals, like maybe fertilizer. You add more fertilizer. If in case there's something like maybe an outbreak of a certain disease, you spray on the weeds also to kill weeds and to make sure the plant remains healthy for high, or rather for maximum production. The other one we want to talk about is the digital platforms. What do you mean by digital platforms? Now, like for instance, now where we are communicating, this is a digital platform whereby for farmers' sake, this is where farmers get information about markets, as I'm going to give you on markets, like, the prices of, like the previous prices of commodities, or rather the products, the current, and the predicted, the one like in terms of the future prediction of how this will be. Now, this is the digital platforms. These are just platforms where farmers connect to markets, informations, and resources. This platform provides the farmers with access to read, and also to get access to real-time market data. You know, real-time to market data. Like for instance, today if I tell you one sack of maize goes to close to 7,000 or 5,000, between 5,000 and 7,000. Maybe this is in Trans County. That's the range between 5,000 and 6,000. And Mombasa, it goes between 9,000, 7,000 and 9,000. Once you get to know that, and you're like, maybe you're in Trans or you're in Mombasa, you'll be like, okay, in Trans I'm buying it at 5,000, and here I'll sell it at 9,000. That is a profit. And that's how a farmer, or rather a buyer, or this intermediate person, will be like, let me find a farmer in Transoya, buy like 50 bags of maize, uh, transport them to, where in Mombasa I sell at 9,000. You see, that's a profit. Now, that's the reason why we should be having these digital platforms. And these digital platforms not only gives you information about the market trends, and but also the weather forecast. Like for instance, the current situation whereby we're having um the weather patterns, like the climate has changed, the weather patterns and longer what we used to have initially. The rains have been like the rains are going down slowly, like the amount of it's pretty cold, and like before, or some parts of Kenya or other East Africa and Africa are raining, the parts that never did used to, and some others are drought, like very very dry. So you see, with digital platforms you get access to know the weather forecast, and as a farmer, once you're told or once you're aware of tomorrow's weather, you prepare today and know, in the next 2 weeks we'll be having rains, like in the for a period of like 3 or 4 weeks consecutively. So what am I going to do? I have a piece of land. I think if I plant something, by that time, by the end of the rainy season, I'll be harvesting it. Now you just be aware of what to do next. And once you're aware, it's a plus to you. So, or you're being prepared. In the next 3 months, it will be very hot and dry. You get prepared. Or there'll be no rain for a certain period of time. For instance, if you're always in a dry areas, you have to, like, prepare, harvest water, make sure you have enough water, maybe enough food, and enough pastures for your livestock, so that when that period comes, you're already prepared. Now, that's the reason why you should be following up on weather forecast platforms digitally. They're available on all digital platforms. You go to Google, just type weather forecast platform, they'll bring you several, and it's upon you now to be checking out. And the other one, the financial services. We have these platforms for farmers, whereby if you're a farmer, it's an association, though it's online, but you're given a chance to get knowledge, to get information about agriculture, about financial, like how you're going to, if you're doing farming on a certain piece of land, how much are you supposed to get out of it? How much are you supposed to invest in that farm, so that you, at the end of the day, you get this and this amount of money after, like as an output. The input and the output, you must have a profit. So they give you the knowledge, you given a chance to plan, get knowledge of how you're going to maximize the products and get enough money. And if you're not in a position to get that amount, and maybe you're planning to lease piece of land, you're given an option, like, yeah, you want to lease 3 acres or 4 acres or 5 acres of land to plant a certain crop, but you're out of cash, you don't have enough money. So you're given a site, or rather they give you a platform to be given a chance to get a loan, and they help you through getting the loan and going to the farm, doing all the preparations and everything to do to make sure you plant your whatever the crop you've decided to plant. So the financial part is whereby they're just guiding you, at the same time directing you to where to get the loans, or rather investing. We have many people out here doing investments in terms of agriculture. Like there's a group I know, they mostly they advertise for farmers, and also give farmers platform. Those who want, like you're in Kirinyaga and you want to farm a certain crop, maybe in your area of preference, they will link you and to the farmer, or anywhere you want to go. You go learn, and also get a piece of land, maybe lease, and start your farming journey there. These are some of the things that farmers need to embrace. And the other one, they give you farmers a platform to make informed choices, like holding, like what do you say, seminars. They plan their online, maybe put conferences, host spaces for farmers to come bring ideas, like exchange of thoughts. I'm a dairy farmer, someone else be like, I'm a tea farmer, coffee, sugarcane. This is what I've been doing in sugarcane industry, this is what I've been doing in coffee industry. Okay, what do you think can be done, where can I improve? Do you think if I start another, like, this is what I do, can I start some, like, another type of, farming for it to double my income? Those are some of the things that farmers talk and discuss on these digital platforms. And instead, maybe this farmer is from maybe western region and the other one is from coast, or rather from central. Instead of like moving from central going to coast, or from coast going to western, they meet online and be like, I okay, this is what I do, what do you think I should improve? Through videos, through audios, you just get to exchange, and you learn. Through learning, you've saved the cost of moving from one point to another. But here you just get everything exclusive from that digital platform. And that's how farmers grow. And also here at a farmers media, we always do connect you, make sure you've learned, and definitely you grow. At the end of the day, you have to make a step and improve, maybe where you never did it right, and rectify. You learn from mistakes. you know Agriculture is very interesting. It's an art at the same time as a science, of crop production and livestock. You know, it moves like it's an art. Most people take it, think, okay, people have different perception about agriculture, but it depends with you. If you have passion in it and you've been like, where do I start from? How am I going to do it? Now, this is the place whereby you're going to, get to learn, get these tactics. Where you're not sure about it, learn, ask, and you'll be told. If you have any questions, and any feedback you'd like to give, make sure you drop your comment at a farmers media, and also on our website at www.afarmersmedia. Make sure, and if you have maybe, an idea of, like, maybe you've been having something in you and you don't know how to go about it, we have consultants, we have extension officers can link you up with, and let's take this together. We are here to help you. We are here to make you feel you're at home. We are here to make sure, you reach your dreams, you explore. Like, there's this thing that happened today. There's this guy, it's outside farming, but I find it very interesting and motivating. This guy from Kenya, and he decided, for the past 6 months he started his journey to France. Yeah, is it France? Yeah. So he traveled all the way using his he traveled to from Kenya, driving all the way. Imagine someone driving all the way from Kenya to, let me find this street. He traveled all the way from Kenya to France. Like just driving. You can imagine how far can you drive? Like you personally, how far can you drive? It was so encouraging, and I feel like if you have something, you have a dream, you feel like you want to pursue it, it's not too late. You can do it. No, it's just through his courage and what he has done, it really shows that you can do anything. Anything is possible. It's possible. Anyone can do it. Like, don't limit yourself. And most people have been amazed to what he has done. Like, it's so, motivating, and, you know, yeah, found it. The Kenyan man who drove from Nairobi to Paris. Is it Paris or Paris? uh, and he has been on the road for over 6 months. Yeah. And he left Nairobi and drove down to Namibia, then along coastline of Morocco, then to Spain, and now he's in Paris. Now you can imagine, for over 6 months. These are the kind of people I want. Like, you wanna do something, you go for it, for better, for worse. Now you can imagine he never cared about how far, the obstacles, maybe the blockages. It's somewhere he has never been by the road, and he just decided, I'm doing this. You can imagine. Now, this is the kind of spirit I want you to have. You know, if you have been having that thing of, I want to venture into farming, into doing agriculture, into doing agribusiness, now this is the time. Do it full force without looking behind. Just, if you want to dive to it, do it, do it, do it. I am sure you can do it. Please, you can do this. My name is Boss Queen, and this is a Farmers Media Farm Drive. Farm Drive is very interesting. I don't want to get you so fast. I want us to go step by step, slowly. It's an evening. I know some of you are heading home from work. Maybe you're winding up work. This is the right time to relax. I'm here to just make sure you're entertained. Make sure you get the exact uh, knowledge or information that you need to start something. Market trends. It's if we try to dive in some of the research that was done on market trends, on, like, by the what is it? It shows the overview of agricultural sector. Initially, the research that was done, it shows that the per acre kales. This research was done on kales, cabbages, spinach, tomatoes, onions, potatoes, carrots, maize, beans, wheat, millet, and rice. This research shows that at least between 2021 and 20 between 2022 and 2023, it shows that 20%, okay, 40%, up to, like, between that 2021, 2022 and 2023 February, yeah, February. It shows there's in terms of production, the products I've mentioned, there's a 20% increase, but when it comes to prices, most of them have, like, how do we put it, they have remained the same. Like, in terms of production, the production has been, like, limited. Like, there have not been an increase, or rather, like, decrease. So we are trying to think, what are some of these factors that are affecting the production? The reason for this research is to know we are going through you know a crisis in terms of food production. Now we're trying to think, or rather ask, or conduct the research and find out what's the reason behind the decrease or maybe the stagnating point of food production. We like to know, why is it that the production is still stagnating and no improvement? Now these are some of the factors that affect it. One of them is economic wise. You find out we used to produce maybe a lot of cabbages, either they end up rotting due to less prices. Like for instance, you go to the market, one cabbage maybe it's around how many kgs? Let's say three kgs, and you find out that the cabbage 3 kgs goes for 50 shillings, 50 Kenyan shillings. That's feel to a farmer, that one feels like a loss, because there's too much input in towards that production, and once you sell it you don't get what you expect, so economic wise. And the other one is biological, or rather environmental. you know we've been having an issue in climate change and maybe the environmental factors. So due to change of climate and the environmental factors, you get this less production. So we are coming back in a few to discuss what are some of these factors that are affecting agriculture. And make sure you stay with us, coming back in a few.
Soil is a farmer's most precious resource, key for growing good crops. But if you farm on slopes, then managing your soil can be a challenge. The rainwater can wash good soil off your hillside right down to the bottom of the hill. This washes your topsoil away. To stop soil erosion, make terraces on the hillside. Make a trench along the contour and throw soil on the upper side. The soil on the upper side slows the run of water and let it sink into the soil and stop soil being washed away. You can also plant trees or fodder crops such as napier grass along the contour. These will help hold your soil together on the hillside and protect your land from erosion. With the changing climate, we will see more pests and diseases, and as smart farmers know, when it comes to pests and diseases, prevention is better than cure. Some of the most common pests in maize are fall armyworm, stem borer, and striga weed. Do the following to reduce pests and diseases in your maize. Plant rotate your crop every season and scout for pests and diseases regularly and treat them as you see them. Common maize diseases are head smut, maize lithonecrosis disease MLND, and leaf streak. All three are caused by viruses and have no chemical treatment. Signs of maize lithonecrotic disease or MLND include drying of leaves, rapid yellowing of leaves, no tasseling, unusual or no ears, and rotting cobs. If you notice an attack, uproot the affected plant and burn them away from the field. Smart farmers know savings are important. They can help you through hard times, like when you have poor yields, or help when buying inputs in the new season, paying your labor, or if you want to start planting a crop you have not grown before. Work out how much you can afford to save each month and stick to it. If you can make extra money, add it to your savings. Say, for example, you need 20,000 shillings for the next planting season. Plan to save 5,000 shillings each month for 4 months. Think about where you'll keep the money that you are saving. Bank is a good option. Your money will be safe, and if you keep it there for long, you can make interest. Remember, some bank accounts you have to pay for, so try to find one that's free. Keeping your money on your mobile phone is also good.
Welcome back. Okay, there's some things that are very captivating, motivating, and others are very fine. Let me leave at that. Coming to that in a few. Before we went on a break, we were talking about some of the factors affecting agricultural production, and I was mentioning some, but a few of them. And now, some of them, as we finish on them, so that we get to customer demands. Some of them are lack of market, as I said earlier. You might be having a production, you produced like maximally, but there's no market. Or everybody has produced that particular product and they're just all over. You just sell them at a throwaway price. That's what you mean. Like, those are some of the things that makes farmers be like, last year I produced this, I sold it at this. This year we still do the same. Now, there's that lack of motivation because of the market. There's no opportunity for market for the produce. The other one, the other problem we have is cartels in chain of production. Most there's no field that doesn't have cartels. Like, the worst especially is an agriculture field, like production, farming. The one that is the worst because cartels are all over. But this one, I feel like for farmers, you find out that you, for instance, a dairy farmer, you produce milk, but when you're going to sell it, a cartels come and be like, I'm buying milk from you, farmer. And he buys milk for you a liter at 25 shillings, or rather 30 shillings. And he goes and sell it at 70 or 80 shillings. For instance, if he buys from you at 30 shillings and he goes and sell it at 80 shillings, he has made another liter out of you and another profit at 20 shillings profit per liter. And maybe you're having around, you're selling per day around 30 liters. Now you see the difference. Like, these cartels are really bringing down farmers. You find out, like, there's this one time at home, we used to be like selling milk, but this person coming to buy, he was buying it at 25 shillings per liter. And when you find this person in the market, he's selling the same milk per liter at 60 shillings. Now you can imagine. And this time I tried and I was like, okay, let me go to the market and buy the same milk we sold to him and see how much he's going to sell for me. He sold me the milk 1 liter at 60 shillings. And at home he bought it at 25 shillings. And I was like, okay, now this is it. This is the cartel. we're talking about. The following day, I decided and I was like, okay, because he's selling it at 60 shillings, let me take the same milk we usually give you. Let me go and sell it per liter at 50 shillings. I tried that and it really worked. I got double of what he was giving us. Like he was giving us the half. So he got the double. You know, and through that amount, you get to buy, supplements for the cow, and enough for the cow will get enough fodder, and you also as a farmer you get a reward, like out of the work you've been doing you get paid. So these cartels really discourage farmers because they feel like they are being let down in terms of prices, and because you've been putting so much hard work towards production, and yet when it comes to selling you receive very very little amount of cash. So these are the some among the factors that affect production. The other one is weather patterns. That one has had said it earlier, because of the due to changing of climatic condition. The other one is the high prices of farm inputs. Yes, like this one, you find out like in cow, like a cow, one cow, if you're going to buy like the supplement, like for instance the dairy meal is very costly, and when buying it you expect to get a high product, and while selling it you get less out of what you've sold. You see, it really demotivates you and you feel like, no, you're not going to do this. Not only in dairy but also in crop production. For instance, fertilizer, it's very costly. If you come to other spraying, chemicals that you use to spray the farm to kill weeds and maybe others to add nutrients to the soil, they are very costly. So you find out that it's not everybody affords it, and once you buy them you expect to have high production, or sometimes you be like it's very costly, now you're not going to buy them. You just be like, let the crop yields be the way they like, however it comes, I'll receive it that way. And because the prices of the inputs are high, you decide, let it be the way it will be, and that's how we end up having the same production, year come in, year go out. And the other one is the lack of funds for the like, sorry, the other one is limited knowledge to manage farm inputs such as pesticides and herbicides. Yeah, this one is a common problem. You find out when it comes to application of herbicides or rather pesticides, people lack knowledge. Either some does it in excess or less, and others use the wrong herbicide or pesticide. Like this purpose it was served to use, they use it wrongly. Because they lack knowledge, and others lack the information of when to use it and where, and others how. These are some of the things that farmers need to know. We need to conduct like civic education to them and be like, whenever you experience such a thing, this is what you're supposed to do. And every time you buy either pesticide or herbicide, make sure you check on the label. Confirm label. Just confirm the expiry dates and go through the instructions always before you use it. Make sure you read the instruction, because if you don't, you may end up doing the wrong thing that wasn't supposed to be done. Maybe you're supposed not to maybe the herbicide is not supposed to be, you know it is supposed to be mixed with a certain amount of water. You For spraying, you find out you used less, and it's still concentrated, and it end up affecting either the crop or the livestock, or you dilute it too much such that it's not going to be helpful, like it adds less impacts towards what you're trying to kill or destroy in the farm. So be keen, always go through the instruction, check the label for the expiry date, and confirm that, just make sure you confirm it's if it's legit or it's not. Those are some of the key factors you need to confirm, to check, and always be careful when using it, and keep it out of reach of human consumption, because some people think might misuse it and will not like the result. The other one is the poor. We have issue with the poor road network. Yes, as a farmer, yes, you've had quite a good production. Like the yields from your farm are very good. But reaching to the market is where you draw the line because of the poor road networks. Now you find out, like, there's a story someone was giving me, like, there's a time they produced, you know, tomatoes. Tomatoes are very perishable. These are some, like, it's perishable, you cannot put it maybe there are too many congested in a same place for a long time. So they've harvested tomatoes, they've graded them according to grade one, two, three, and they were ready to go to the market. Now, the roads, the road wasn't that good, and then it rained. You know how what that means. It rained, the tomatoes hasn't reached the market, the road is slippery. Any vehicle that is trying to come, to come to pick it from the farm, it gets stuck due to mud. Like, those tomatoes stayed for around 2 days, and that's how they got perished. Like, they all got destroyed, only a few. That is a loss. Now, you see, there'll be less because less tomatoes will reach the market, the other ones get destroyed. And this one, as a farmer, you feel, there's that feeling you feel like after losing and after going through a loss, there's that feeling you feel like, next time I'm not going to do this. So poor road networks, they really demotivate farmers and makes, the same produce keep on recurring every now and then. The last one is the lack of agricultural extension officers. I remember talking about this every now and then. You want to do something, you have no idea, you're just doing a trial and error. We need extension officers. Like, if a farmer, like a certain place, doesn't have an extension officer or that knowledge, you'll end up experiencing the same problem every now and then because you have no one to consult or no one to refer from. Like, I'm trying to do this, it's failing, what can I do to improve next? For instance, this extension officers, if he or she comes to your farm, he will establish what's wrong with the farm, what's wrong with your livestock, why are you receiving the same amount of production year in, year out. He or she will establish the problem, find a solution, implement it, and at the end of the day, you'll have improvement in terms of production. So these are some of the things that farmers face that makes it, hard to improve in terms of production. Now, what are some of these factors that can be done to improve agricultural sector, like production, in terms of production? One of them is to provide subsidized fertilizers. These are some of the views that, according to the research that was conducted, like some of the views people or farmers gave out that may at least boost production. One of them was providing provision of subsidized fertilizers. Recently, the president ordered to have subsidy in terms of fertilizer, and at least let's see how this year's production will look like. He lowered the prices of fertilizer. Let's see, those people planted this season or this year, let's see how much the production will be. Will we have increase in terms of production, or we will still have the same amount of production, or rather will we have less? The other one is providing water for irrigation. For example, in dry areas, the construction of dams and other irrigation methods to be employed, like water, provision of water. I feel like when we have water, irrigation is going to be easier. So let's see, like in those areas, are we going, like after the dams have been constructed, will there be increase in terms of production, or will we have less? The other one is provision of quality seeds. Seeds, we have fertilizers. Yes, seeds, provision of quality seeds. When you're given quality seeds, definitely in terms of production, we're going to have high production. What do I mean by this? For instance, if a certain region has an issue with pests, and we maybe get a pest resistant crop or seed for that particular region, we're going to have production, high maximum, or rather maximum production, through having this seed resistant product. For instance, maize, we have like in areas where we have drought. If we produce drought resistant maize seeds today and gift them, definitely we are going to have high yields in terms of production. So we take keen, like in terms of production. So um providing quality seeds will improve, and the other one is providing loans to farmers. Some of the farmers we have maybe might be going through financial, they be having less finances, and they feel like, if I had more money, I could be putting more efforts into this farm, or maybe cultivating a larger piece of land. So if you give them finances in terms of loans, they're going to get, you're going to, increase in terms of production. So for instance, a farmer who has 3 or 5 acres of land, the only amount of money he can afford is to cultivate only 2 acres and leave the 3 acres without being, planted or having anything. So if you give this farmer a loan, definitely he's going to cultivate the 5 acres, and we're going to increase in terms of production. The other one is to create market for farmers, or these farmers, a certain farmers does a certain, like, plant a certain type of crop, and you've had a certain a certain place, there's this open market for that particular crop, or maybe product from maybe livestock. You definitely contact them and be like, hey, you plant maize in my place. There's this place I know, they buy maize at this particular price. And when you have that, there's that motivation. This farmer know, if I plant this type of crop, definitely at the end of the day during harvesting, I'm going to get a market for my product. So that's a total motivation. Like, I'm going to plant this, by the end of this duration, I'll be getting this amount of money after I harvest. Yeah, so those are some of the things we need to look at and see how you're going to improve. And as we move on to consumer demands, consumer demands, like these demands, why, what make this happens, like why this, some of these demands, we have the customer demands or consumer demands. As I said earlier, you as a consumer, you have your own preference. Let's say just a preference or what you need. When you're going to buy, for instance, a car, your demand. Are you a Mercedes type? Are you a Toyota type? Are you a Volkswagen type? Are you an Audi type? That's your demand. That's your preference. When you go to the yard, you find there's an Audi, there's a Mercedes, there's a BMW, and you're like, I'm a Range Rover person. So definitely you're not going to pick the Audi because there's no range. No, you're going to go to every yard to make sure you get the Range Rover. Now the same thing applies to when it comes to agricultural products. So some of these agricultural products, we have like some people, their preferences and how they you know like things to be done and what they need. So as culture, when you're going to consider maybe to start up a farming practice, there's some of the things you need to consider, and first of all, one of them is culture. There's no way you're going to start up a pork butchery in a Muslim gated place. You definitely know Muslim don't take pork. Majority, like let's say Muslims generally. I've never had a Muslim take pork. For the friends I've been having, like they rarely. And then you put a butcher at that particular place. Who are you going to sell? Nobody is going to buy. So some of the key things you need to check on is, first of all, the culture. Do your own background research. Make sure the product you're going, or the commodity you're going to sell to that particular place where you want to open up your business, make sure you know about the culture around that place. Make sure you're aware, well versed with it, so that if you're going to do it to open that business, it's going to thrive. So it's very unrealistic to open up a pork butcher where in a Muslim gated community. It's like I don't know how to put it though, but it's strange. If you go, okay, even if pork, most people, let's say, okay, we have Christians who do pork. Personally, I eat pork. So if I where I come from in my area, if you put that butcher, we have a pork palace and we have a lot of people who come there. So if that person established, if I put a pork butcher here, it's going to thrive, and it is for real. It is doing well. So first of all, if you understand your consumer demands, this is very crucial for business. So it will help you develop and provide products and services that align with what your customer wants. So if you do that, after you identify your your customers and what they did and what they just after identifying the demands, this one is going to give you the business, like it's going to increase customer satisfaction and also build brand loyalty and also drive sales and growth. Some of these the customer demands, they vary according to industry, demographics, and where you are. Like they differ. One of these customer demands is quality. First one is quality. What you will need to know, where you come from. These people like type of quality. Like let's say when it comes to tomatoes, These people like quality tomatoes, grade one, the ones that are usually big, like very catchy, very like they look good. This is what people like. So if you bring the smaller ones, you're not going to sell. So the quality, identify what type of quality do my people like, or the customers I sell for. Two, what quality do they like? And also make sure you meet their quality expectations. These quality expectations, like in whatever you're doing, be it in milk, be it on, some people they prefer, when it comes to milk brands, I prefer taking this than this. There are so many brands that we have out here. So the only thing that differs is quality. Okay, some of the factors to consider when it comes to quality is the durability, reliability, and also the design. How have you designed your product? How durable is it? Like, how reliable is it? You should consider that factor, because people consider quality more. The other one is affordability. Is your product affordable? Is it affordable to the people around there? There's no way you'll start up what like you open up a shop in Kilimani, and you open a shop in Githurai, and expect like there are differences in terms of prices. You can't sell a product, the same product you're selling it from Kilimani, sell it in Githurai at the same place, in the same, like, price. There's no way. People won't buy. They look at you like, what are you doing? What are you selling? You know, but if you sell according to where you are, like Githurai people, you put the same price for Githurai people. Those people in Kilimani, like how affordable it is to that particular, you need to consider that, like the product, or rather the services, the value for money, you have to check. Like, also you seek the competitive pricing, discounts, or maybe how are the people there. Definitely you'll find that product being sold there, but how different is it when it comes to competition? Are you higher or are you low? Like, you have to compete, because by the end of the day you need customers, you need to sell. So when doing pricing and all that, make sure you check on how, on affordability, is your product going to be affordable for the people around that place? You should check on that. And the convenience, this is the other one. Like, most customers expect products or services are like to be easily accessed. How accessible it is, how is it easy to use, and can it be integrated in a daily day-to-day lives? Those are some of the things you should consider. Like, you should, like, can it be found online? Can you do deliveries? Is it user friendly? Yeah. Can you customer service, how is it? you know okay, nowadays I found out like most people like shopping online, like in terms of groceries. You just be like, you check a list of what you need: tomatoes, carrots, onions, milk, mention all, mention all. Someone be like, instead of going to the market, walk from one to another, let me just place an order. They are found here online. Like, you just type, be like, there's a grocery, an online grocery. You type, do your shopping. They give you this is the what you purchased. This is your what you need to pay. Now someone pays and they deliver just right at the doorstep. It has made, like, that's how convenient it is. Maybe for instance you're working, um you get to work maybe at 7 or 8 a.m. and get out at around 8 p.m. in the evening. Now, you're tired, you don't have time to, go to the market, do the shopping and all that. You just, while you're at work, shop online, When you get home, it's delivered at your doorstep. So most people prefer that. And while setting up something, you need to check on the demands. People like ordering this. Why don't I start also? If you're having that market, maybe a stall somewhere where people come in, also consider having an online platform too, because some people will still order from online. Those who doesn't get don't get time find it hard to move from one place to another. Sustainability is another factor you should consider, like how the sustainability of that particular product. Like, is it are your consumers demands, are they sustainable, and are they eco-friendly, now that you are looking into the environmental factors. Like, anytime, like for instance, if you're packaging, you should not pack your products in something, in a package that is, when after use, it's going to affect the environment. For instance, polythene. Should avoid polythene papers because they're not environmental friendly. These products and services produced, they should have like minimal environmental impact, and rather they should support social and ethical values. Like, as I've said, the packaging also should not affect the environment. It should be environmental friendly, something that maybe can be reused, recycled. You should consider that. The other one is health and well-being. Like, how the demand for health and wellness products and services is very high. So you should consider an option, to promote the physical and mental well-being. That include fitness, food, and healthy food choices, and self-care products. When selling commodities, for instance, the food or agricultural products from the farm, make sure you give the ones that are healthy. Make sure they have an additional healthy component, so that when I'm buying, I feel like, if going to buy apples, I can recommend you to so and so. He sells the best apples. They're sweet, and they're very healthy. So those are some of the things you need to consider, like in market trends. And in market trends, like not market trends, consumer demand, sorry, consumer demands. If you heed to consumer demands, you're going to get a lot of customers, and you'll rarely there will be minimal losses that you'll experience. So if you get the exact demands from your customers and you heed to them, definitely you're going to have a soft life, because if you fulfill my demands, then why not? Why should I not choose you? Those are some of the things we consider. Now, these are some practices of, like, the consumer demands in terms of agricultural products in Kenya. We have people prefer organic, free, the produce that are organic free, like, and the free produce that are organic friendly, like, the one that uses less chemicals, as I mentioned earlier. Like, due to issues of health and all that, people prefer, let me go for organic products rather than the one that comes out of inorganic. And as I said earlier, as much as expensive they might be, people will still go for that than this. So you have to establish also where you are selling them from. The other one are locally, the locally sourced foods. Like, someone, I know of someone who, grows vegetables or fruits. I'll rather go to that person, buy from that, than going somewhere to purchase from, where I don't know where these fruits or rather the vegetables are coming from. So the locally sourced are environmental friendly, and we're also contributing towards the local economy. So if you promote someone locally, you're growing the economic locally. Like some of these, they're like the grown fruits that are grown locally. We have vegetables, we have dairy products, we have meat. you know Someone does that where you see them grow, where you see them slaughtered. You always promote that than going somewhere and be like, you're not sure if this one is from our local or it's imported. The other one is we have like consumer looking for like agricultural products that are processed or packaged in a way that adds convenience or value. you know the value added products, for instance, packaged fruits and vegetables, and ready to eat snacks, processed products like fruit juice, jams, and sauces. People be like, the value added products, these are processed fruits and or other meat or other, the snacks, they are already processed and they are packaged. So someone prefer, let me check this. So there's that need of knowing what your customers or consumers like. For instance, someone be like, I need to, an apple juice, and be like, I need to purchase a blender, go to the market, find the best apples, come start blending. It's a lot of work. But instead, you have simplified them. You have ready-made apple juice. You get your market from there. The other one is the food safety. You make sure the foods you're producing, or rather the packaging, is safe for human consumption. They always make sure you put, the manufacturer, the dates, the expiry date, so that someone knows, if I buy this food or this thing, I'm going to stay with it up to before this date, and if it gets to this date before it's finished, I need to dispose it because it will be expired. Those are some of the things we need to consider. And the other one, you know, as I mentioned earlier, the other one is exotic products. There is a demand in exotic products because customers are willing to, explore new flavors. Like myself, I like spices. So some of these exotic flavors are spices. Which spices do you like to spice up the food? Make sure it's tasty. You should, and either they are not traditional grown here in the country or they're from outside. These products include fruits, the herbs. You should include them. Some people have different preferences, so you should check which who likes who likes what. For me, I like spices. I'll buy like hundreds of them and be trying. This one is from China. Let me try this. From Japan. Let me try the Japanese type. Indian, and be like, today I'm going to cook an Indian, Indian food, because you know, Indian what? Indian food, and be like, let me go collect some Indian spices, some Indians, ingredients, and be like, now let me get down to the recipe. Let me know. Let me go through it, start cooking, and see what I'll get. That's how we try. So if you get to an area whereby such people exist, make sure such spices maybe and products don't miss, so that you increase how you're going to sell out. And in Kenya, some, as I discussed earlier, when it comes to culture, there are some of the cultural activities that affect market trends. And some of these, as we finalize, are traditional food preferences. Now you find that some of the people like don't eat particular type of crop. For instance, traditional foods such as maize, beans, vegetables, uh, they're influenced by demands, as these are staple foods, especially here in Kenya. And this leads to the focus to produce most, like farmers focus on producing most of maize, beans, kale, spinach, because it's the staple food in Kenya, instead of venturing into others, like trying to plant other, like, Chinese cabbage, like trying to, you know, venturing into planting some different types of crops. So most people like be like, because this is what we found, this is what we continue with. So I feel like we should break that barrier and try to explore in terms of production and producing, like breaking the dormancy of Kenya. Our staple food is ugali from maize, so we have to produce maize, beans, skuma wiki, and spinach. We should break that. The other one is religion. Religion, there are particular religious activities or religions that are against some practices. For instance, Islamic tradition, uh, they, when they're on Ramadan, there's they eat a lot of dates. When I mention dates, you get, and fruits, that when they are fasting, that's when there's that too much intake of dates and fruits, because they're fasting and they're not eating. Now you see, dates goes, like they are sold at, you know they're very high. And other types of food, if you used to sell them, maybe cabbages, kumawiki, other legumes, you find that you're not selling anymore. And the other one, that, they don't eat, like, when it comes to Indians, they don't eat, beef, because they believe, their belief. I don't want to mention that. And also, there are some of these activities that hinders agricultural production. There are some others are festivals and celebration, like mainly in Kenya, Christmas and Easter. We have increase in meat consumption. Like, this is a period whereby people eat meats. There's nyama choma, there's shemsha, there's, we have different preferences. So this one, you find out that goats, chicken, this is a period whereby they are highly produced. Like, somebody be like, by now, I've started, like, keeping chicken for the purpose of December, Christmas, because there'll be high demand in terms of chicken and goat meat. So this is the time you're practicing, keeping chicken, and, making sure by that time you'll be selling them. And the other one, rituals and ceremonies. Some rituals requires bloodshedding, so definitely they'll be cutting. People will buy goats, cows, for the sake of that ceremonies to happen. And the other one, yeah, I think those are some of the things that affects, market demands. And when there's high demand of something, probably the prices are always high. And when there's high production of something, of a certain commodity or product, there's always low price. There's always low price in terms of selling in the market. And when there's less production, there is always very high. It is always, that particular commodity is always high in terms of pricing. So I think today you've learned a lot about, the production part, the market trends, the consumer demands, the culture. I'm sure if you go deep down to your culture, go check. I'd like you to drop that comment down here after this live. Like, in your culture, what is this that is not consumed? Like, even if you try, it's never used to be, or some have started using it and you personally don't consume. Make sure you drop it in our comment section. Let me know you which from which community and what don't you consume, and like, you found it and it's been a tradition ever since you were born, or which particular crop don't you grow, which type of animal don't you rear. Those are some of the things I want to know from your community. See you tomorrow, same time, same place at Farm Drive. My name is Boss Queen, and keep it a farmers media. This is where farmers connect, learn, and of course grow. Make sure you follow our social media platforms, handles at Farmers Media, a Farmers Media at a Farmers Media underscore on Twitter, and www.farmers.com. That is our website. Let's keep the interaction going. If in case you have any questions of what you'd like us to discuss, or maybe on carbon cake on our next show, maybe you have something you'd like us to highlight, maybe you can drop it in the comment and we'll follow up on you. Bye bye.
Losing out on your crops or livestock can be a huge problem. With changing weather, there will be more unexpected losses. Have you heard about agricultural insurance? By paying a small amount of money each month, you can get paid out for serious losses to your crop or livestock. It is more affordable than you think. For a dairy cow valued at 100,000 shillings, the cost of insurance is 3.5% of that value. So, 3,500 shillings. That's about 10 shillings per day, or 1.5 liters of milk a week. Here's how to get insured. Contact an insurance agent. Someone will come and assess the expected yields from your crops or value of your animals. The insurer will then give you a cost and plan for your insurance. You pay the premium. That's the amount you need to pay to be insured for 1 year. That's it. Nutrients from the soil when growing. Fertilizers are there to help return these nutrients to the soil. They support crops to grow bigger, faster, and produce more food. Crops need different type of fertilizers and nutrients at different stages of growth. For instance, phosphorus, B, helps with early root formation and growth. Nitrogen, N, helps leaf and stem growth. And potassium, K, helps fruits to form and mature. Do a soil test on your shamba, as this will tell you what nutrients your soil has or is lacking, and it will advise on which fertilizer to use for the crops you want to grow. Remember that the benefits of fertilizer will only last for 1 or 2 seasons. So, it's good to add manure to your soil when planting, as this helps boost soil fertility and improve the quality and health of your soil over time, thereby reducing the need for fertilizer. Manure has a mix of nutrients which slowly enter the soil over time.
Conservation agriculture is a way of farming that keeps nutrients and moisture in your soil. It's also a good way of controlling pests and diseases. The 3 main principles are minimum tillage, mulching, and crop rotation. With minimum tillage, you only disturb the soil where you will be planting. You can do this with a reaper or using a djembe. The second principle is called mulching. This means that you cover your soil with leftover residues such as leaves or maize stovers. This protects your soil from the hot sun while holding moisture in the ground. The mulch material will break down and add nutrients to your soil. Crop rotation is the third principle. You shouldn't plant the same crop on the same piece of land year after year. Instead, rotate between different crop families each season. If you follow these simple principles, you can be certain of healthier soil and higher yields in the long run.
Soil is a farmer's most precious resource, key for growing good crops. But if you farm on slopes, then managing your soil can be a challenge. The rainwater can wash good soil off your hillside right down to the bottom of the hill. This washes your topsoil away. To stop soil erosion, make terraces on the hillside. Make a trench along the contour and throw soil on the upper side. The soil on the upper side slows the run of water and let it sink into the soil and stop soil being washed away. You can also plant trees or fodder crops such as napier grass along the contour. These will help hold your soil together on the hillside and protect your land from erosion. With the changing climate, we will see more pests and diseases, and as smart farmers know, when it comes to pests and diseases, prevention is better than cure. Some of the most common pests in maize are fall armyworm, stem borer, and striga weed. Do the following to reduce pests and diseases in your maize. Plant certified seeds. Keep your farm weed-free. Rotate your crop every season and scout for pests and diseases regularly and treat them as you see them. Common maize diseases are head smut, maize lithonecrosis disease, MLND, and leaf streak. All three are caused by viruses and have no chemical treatment. Signs of maize lithonecrotic disease or MLND include drying of leaves, rapid yellowing of leaves, no tasseling, unusual or no ears, and rotting cobs. If you notice an attack, uproot the affected plant and burn them away from the field. Smart farmers know savings are important. They can help you through hard times, like when you have poor yields, or help when buying inputs in the new season, paying your labor, or if you want to start planting a crop you have not grown before. Work out how much you can afford to save each month and stick to it. If you can make extra money, add it to your savings. Say for example you need 20,000 shillings for the next planting season. Plan to save 5,000 shillings each month for 4 months. Think about where you'll keep the money that you are saving. Bank is a good option. Your money will be safe, and if you keep it there for long, you can make interest. Remember, some bank accounts you have to pay for, so try to find one that's free. Keeping your money on your mobile phone is also good.